the lost son. Jesus told this story. There was once a man who had two sons. The younger said to his father, "Dad, I want right now what's coming to me." So the father divided the property between them. It wasn't long before the younger son packed his bags and left for a distant country. There, undisciplined and dissipated, he wasted everything he had, and he wasted his life. After he had gone through all his money, there was a bad famine all through that country, and he began to hurt. He signed on with a citizen there who assigned him to his fields to slop the pigs. He was so hungry, he would have eaten the corn cobs in the pig slop, but no one would give him any. That brought him to his senses, and he said, "All those farmhands working for my father sit down to 3 meals a day, and here I am starving to death. I'm going back to my father, and I'll say to him, 'Father, I've sinned against God, I've sinned before you. I don't deserve to be called your son. Take me on as a hired hand.'" He got right up and went home to his father. When he was still a long way off, his father saw him. His heart pounding, he ran out, embraced him, and kissed him. The son started his speech. "Father, I've sinned against God. I've sinned before you. I don't deserve to be called your son ever again." But the father wasn't listening. He was calling to the servants, "Quick, bring a clean set of clothes and dress him. Put the family ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Then get a grain-fed heifer and roast it. We're going to feast. We're going to have a wonderful time. My son is here, given up for dead and now alive, given up for lost and now found." And they began to have a wonderful time. All this time his oldest son was out in the field. When the day's work was done, he came in. And as he approached the house, he heard the music and dancing. Calling over one of the houseboys, he asked what was going on. He was told, "Your brother has come home. Your father has ordered a feast, barbecued beef, because he has him home safe and sound." The older brother stalked off in an angry sulk and refused to join in. His father came out and tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't listen. The son said, "Look, how many years I've stayed here serving you, never giving you one moment of grief. But have you ever thrown a party for me and my friends? Then this son of yours, who has thrown away all of your money, shows up, and you go all out with a feast?" His father said, "Son, you don't understand. You're with me all the time, and everything that is mine is yours. But this is a wonderful time, and we have to celebrate. This brother of yours was dead, and he's alive. He was lost, and he's found." Hi, it's Lynton here, and this is Sketch and Tell. This is part 5 of a series I'm doing called the Divinity of Dogs, which is looking at God's presence with us on whatever journey we're taking. And I do like the image of a road. We all walk different roads, but whatever it is, there is my sense there is someone with us. And I'm asking the question, can our faithful companions that we have at home, the dog, teach us something about God's character, God's presence? I'm going to be looking at, in the dog world, the Ferrari, the fastest dog in the dog kingdom. And it is the beautiful Whippet. And I have a special soft spot for the Whippet because I used to have one. And these guys are just pure poetry in motion when you see them run. Not only can they, in top gear, get up to about 60 kilometres an hour, but it's just the way they run. It's almost like a cheetah. They are just smooth and beautiful to watch. But after they've had their run, it's time for some couch work. And they, like the Great Dane and like the Greyhound, they just love to spend time near you as your companion on the couch. But it's the speed of them that I'm particularly looking at. And I'm going to link that with some words that have been used over and over again by men and women of faith, both present and stretching back centuries, describing their sense of what it's like to open up to God and to know what God is like towards us. And they use words like God is slow to anger and full of mercy and grace, or compassion and grace, or steadfast love and grace. Now these words are kind of God words, and I'm going to just give you my little take on what they mean for me. But also I'm going to change the word full to fast. Let me explain. Now, for me, those words, grace, mercy, compassion, they are what we describe a parent bond. It's that connection that a parent eternally has with their children. From the womb through to the nurturing, to the care, to that sacrificial love that they offer, which embodies and is willing to hold a lot of pain and disappointment and hurt, but they don't give up. It's that parental forgiveness and willingness to do that no matter what, and that open-handed generosity. It can best be described as a parent's warm, tender heartedness towards their children. And to me, that is what those words grace and mercy and compassion embody. And to me, God is speedy on delivering those and giving those and providing those to all of us. Not slow, not holding back. And the best story that sums that up is the one of the prodigal son. And it's one that Jesus told to open the perception and the minds and the eyes of his listeners. And I think it's also very relevant for myself and for all of us today to change our mind about what God is like. And the story that he told was an absolute shocker to those who were listening. It just went across all cultural norms, not only of how a son and a father and a son ought to behave and treat each other, but the story was not just about the son, it's about the Father. And the Father is a picture of God. So as they heard it, they saw and heard of a Father, God, who is outrageous in his display or her display of love. Instead of disowning and punishing and disciplining that son who had brought shame on the family and the father made an absolute fool of himself by waiting at the gate and pining after his lost son, looking out for him every day. And when he saw that speck in the distance, ran out to meet him and threw himself on him and reinstated him with all the symbols of sonhood, what it means to be fully embraced into the family, the ring, the sandals, the garment. Much to his elder brother's disgust, he stood back and distant in outrage, in self-righteous anger. And then the father went further and invited all his friends and threw a lavish party and explained and announced to all who were there, my son, who was once dead, is now alive. Who was lost to me is now found and home. Let's party. And the image that I have, that I take with me in whatever road I'm walking, is that God is not interested in trying to make me earn his favour and love, to measure up. God's love and grace is there, fast, like a whippet, every breathing moment of the day. God does not hold my failures against me, does not tally up and score my wrongs on a scoreboard somewhere or a database somewhere. God's forgiveness is there every moment of the day, fast, like a whippet. And God does not wait for me to get my life together. Does not wait for me to get my right beliefs together before God will give a little bit of his goodness to me. God reaches out to me every day, every moment of the day, fast, like a whippet, does not hold back, is not slow. The only slowness is, in a sense, in our unwillingness to believe this, to trust in it, to live in it, to allow it to shape our thoughts and our lives. In one sense, we prefer to live in the wastelands and the far distant country than to really believe that God is a reckless, crazy, outrageous lover, as the story of the prodigal demonstrates and shows. But when you do open yourself up to that, and whatever road you're walking on, then you sense that the air you breathe is God's grace and mercy and love. The sun that warms your face and gives life to this world that we live in is like God's grace and love and compassion. The ground we walk on is that firm ground that will never move of God's love and grace and mercy. It is behind us, it is with us and around us and before us. It is fast, like a whippet. There is a psalm that I've referred to in a number of cases, Psalm 23, where I know the image is that of a shepherd and a sheep, but I think there's a lot of similarities between ourselves and dogs. But in the last part of the psalm, we have the psalmist saying, "You prepare a table or a banquet for me in the presence of my enemies, or in the presence of all that I fear and am anxious about. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." There's no holding back with you. "Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord." And that word follow is the word to chase. God's goodness and mercy and grace are going to chase you for the rest of your days like a whippet. May you have a colourful day. Thank you.